Yes, I'm just coming on here to do a quick recording. I'm not one to do videos. It's just something that touched me. Yeah. I felt led to just happen to bump into this information here with this guy. His name is T.W. Tramm, and he's talking about his flood month, a turning point for America. Something just touched me, and he's talking about CHESVAN. The month of Noah's flood begins November 3rd. Now, mind you, there has been flooding everywhere, right? All different cities and countries and nations, right? We're experiencing rain as well here in the U.S. Virgin Islands and Hawaii. So he's talking about here are 9 reasons CHESVAN could be pivotal for America and the world. Number 1, 8th month. CHESVAN is the 8th biblical month. The number 8 is associated with birth, new beginnings, and resurrection in Scripture, according to Genesis chapter 17, 12, Matthew 28. 2, autumn rains. CHESVAN marks the beginning of the autumn rains that portend. Portend means to give an omen or anticipatory sign of, indicate, signify, right? Jesus' return. His coming is as certain as the dawn. He will come to us like the rain, like the autumn and spring rains come on the earth. Hosea chapter 6, 2, 3. 3rd, temple dedication. Since CHESVAN is the only month with no festivals or special observances, the rabbis teach that it is reserved for the time of Messiah, who will inaugurate the ultimate temple in this month. 4, Jubilee fish. In Jewish mysticism, CHESVAN is linked to the letter Nun. The numeric value of the letter Nun is 50, the number of Jubilee or redemption, according to Leviticus 25. Moreover, in Aramaic, the word Nun means fish, a symbol of believers or the church. 5, judgment constellation. CHESVAN is when the sun enters the constellation Libra, the weighing scales. The scales of Libra signify judgment, as when the handwriting on the wall declared God's verdict on Babylon. You have been weighed on the scales and found wanting. Your kingdom is divided and given to the enemy, according to Daniel 5, 26 to 28. 6, days of Noah. CHESVAN is when the flood of Noah began and ended, Genesis 7 to 8. This is significant because, speaking of the timing of his return, Jesus says it will be like the days of Noah, Matthew 24, 37. Eclipse anniversary. CHESVAN 1 this year marks 7 months since the American solar eclipse on Nisan 1. The American eclipse was considered a major biblical sign because it occurred above the world's sole superpower and the head of a Gentile nations. It occurred above the nation that is home to roughly half the world's Jews, and which is Israel's chief ally and protector. It crossed the path of the 2017 American eclipse to form a giant X, the symbol of cancellation or termination across the U.S. The crossing point of the giant X was America's Little Egypt, the nation synonymous with God's judgment, Exodus 7-12. The path was 120 miles wide, evoking the 120-year limit set on corrupt humanity in Noah's day, Genesis chapter 6:3. The path crossed over the only U.S. city named Jonah and multiple locations named Nineveh, evoking the biblical account of the prophet who was sent to warn the Ninevites of God's impending judgment. 8. Asteroid flood. Between September 11 and November 5th, America's terror anniversary and election day, respectively, an asteroid named 4220 flood is found between the horns of the constellation Taurus, the bull that depicts Jesus as the coming judge. Significantly, 2024 is the only year between 2015 and 2030 that asteroid flood appears in Taurus. During the flood month, bolstering the flood connection, Taurus is home to the Pleiades, the star cluster from which God is said to have borrowed 2 stars to initiate Noah's flood, quote unquote, Barakut 59a. What is fascinating is that the annual torrid meteor shower, which coincidentally peaks beginning on election day, is thought to be responsible for meteor impacts related to mass extinction. Election day is thought to be responsible for, mass extinction event in Earth's distant past. The only mass extinction event recorded in Scripture is the flood of Noah. Another coincidence is that asteroid flood initially entered Taurus on Tammuz 17, the anniversary of when Israel was punished for worshiping the golden calf, Exodus 32. From Tammuz 17 to the anniversary of the flood is 120 days, again evoking the 120 limit set on corrupt humanity in Noah's day, Genesis 6:3. Asteroid America, number 9, finally continuing the judgment theme on the 17th of Tammuz, or 120 days before the flood anniversary on asteroid named 916, America entered Capricornus. The half goat, half fish of Capricornus symbolizes the atoning sin offering goat and the people fish for whom the atonement is made, quote unquote, Leviticus 16:5-10. The number assigned to the asteroid 916 correlates to Strong's 916, Greek barrel, which refers to a burden or weighing down due to sin. Asteroid America lingers in Capricornus, sin offering, until the eve of CHESVAN, when it enters Aquarius, the water bearer who pours out a flood from a giant urn. Summary and conclusion. CHESVAN is the month of new beginnings. Is when the autumn rains that portend Jesus' coming begin. Is when the rabbis believe the ultimate temple will be dedicated. Is linked to the number 50, quote unquote, redemption and fish church believers. Is when the sun enters Libra, the weighing scales that signify atonement or judgment. Is when Noah's flood began and ended. With the judgment themes in view, it is significant that CHESVAN 2024 is seeing a convergence of judgment signs. CHESVAN 1 marks 7 months since the American eclipse. Between September 11 and Election Day, asteroid flood is in the home of Taurus, the judgment constellation. The torrid meteor shower associated with Noah's flood begins to peak on Election Day. Asteroid flood entered Taurus judgment 120 days before the flood anniversary. Asteroid America entered Capricornus. Sin offering 120 days before the flood anniversary. If we are reading the signs correctly, America is ripe for judgment. Will CHESVAN mark a turning point? Time will tell. Thank you for listening. Good night.